Okay, we are now live. All right. Um, Thank you guys for showing up. Um, as most people don't realize, we also have a second chapter. This is the Florida team. This is Roy and Sue.
Hello, how you doing?
Hi, everybody from Florida.
And Georgia and all across the United States.
Oh yeah.
Anybody watching?
No, I'm
We
just us from Florida.
I actually heard from a friend of mine that his brother in England's been watching us.
Oh, really? Wow.
Mm.
Awesome.
So yeah, I brought you guys in today because I wanted to talk. We were supposed to have someone else, but they backed out at last minute.
Oh, well, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Slackers.
But yeah, they were part of a paranormal team from Alabama.
Okay.
Um,
Oh, that would have been cool.
but since they ain't here today, I got you guys, which is the greatest thing about it. And yeah, we're just gonna be talking about things that you've since you guys have started. I've got questions that were sent in from the last podcast and from Twitter because our Twitter's starting to blow up now.
Okay. Yeah, I've got some questions and stuff too, that I've people ask and get some answers for.
Um, yeah. So, what drew you guys into the paranormal?
What drew us? Well, what drew me was when I was younger, I would say about 9 or 10 years old, I used to have experiences of spirits coming. And at that age, I had no clue what to make of it or anything. And, you know, back in the day, let's put it that way, not giving ages, but back in the day, um, you didn't talk. Nobody talked about stuff like this. And if you did, it's all in your mind. So I went years and years and years not saying anything to anybody or talking about it. And I would say, since actually I met you guys and joined in and everything, is when I really started opening up about all my experiences. Because till that day, nobody in my family, I never talked about it because it was just something you just didn't do. Um, I don't
Yeah,
know.
and after meeting you guys, it's like okay, it's acceptable to talk about it, because it's there. You know, I've seen things as a kid and experienced stuff, and it's like a lot of it you just don't want to believe. You were taught, well, yeah, you don't talk about that, or else hey, you're crazy. You know, but you got to talk about it. You know,
Oh,
because
yeah.
it's all that unexplained stuff that I would like to have answers. So that's what started getting us into researching.
Yeah, and it's like they say, the ghosts are in your head. No, they're not. They're in my bedroom. They're in my house. They're in the closet. They're under the bed. They're everywhere. So I just want to, hold a conversation with them. If they want to talk to me, talk to me. But, let me know who you are. And if you need any help or if there's anything that, you need us to help you with, we're here for you.
Yeah, most of the people that I spoke with that got into the paranormal, 9 times out of 10, they were told mostly from when they were younger or teenage years, oh, don't talk about it. They'll think you're crazy. They'll put you in a mental institution. Well, that got me thinking. I bet you some of the people that were in mental institution they weren't crazy. Bet you some of them were actually
No,
seeing something and they just started talking.
Right?
exactly. Yeah, it was like I say, it was a different time back then. Everybody kept a lot of stuff to themselves. You know, it's like, yeah, I saw something. Well, maybe I didn't. Well, no, you probably did. It's just you just took it out of your mind and say, no, I can't say nothing about that.
And it was funny because recently I had found out I was speaking to a family member, and my family member, we were just talking about it nonchalantly, and I was told from this family member that They've gone through it and never till this day has said a word.
Wow. So when it comes to you guys' investigations that you've walked into, what type of equipment has been the most essential for you guys?
Our voice recorders and our cameras, because I mean I may not be getting a lot of stuff. I do a lot of the Susie has the voice recorder, and then I do a lot all the photography. And there's times it's like I've got two GoPros and a camcorder, and I set them up and stuff. And um, yeah, we may not catch a lot of stuff. We may not catch anything, but we
Yeah,
go.
ghosts are not on a schedule. Spirits.
Yeah,
I shouldn't say ghosts, but spirits are not on a schedule. That's why they say, oh, only go at dark. No, they don't know the difference between day and night and everything else. It's just whenever they're there, they're there, and if they're not, they're not. But I find the digital recorder. Well, when we first started out, we used our phones. Just the apps on our phones at the time. And I'll tell you what, I started until this day. A lot of people go, no, with the apps, the Spirit Talker app. I'm telling you, Billy, we have gone so many times. Have I got stuff come through that app that we were talking to a 9-year old girl that told us she was 9 years old, gave us her name on the voice recorder, and also through the Spirit Talker came up at the same thing.
and we're finding out lately that the cameras that I'm using are picking up a lot of audio that her voice recorder's not picking up, and it's as clear as day. You know,
Okay, so on one side you've got two pieces of equipment that are picking up the same information through the ITC research, and on the other hand, you've also got stuff coming through audio wise.
exactly. We do have um, infrared thermometers. We're checking for any heat spectrums and everything. To see, we haven't really picked up a lot of anything like that. Um, we have our magnetic checking for uh, you know spikes and stuff on that. Haven't really got a lot in that anyway. But then again, mostly what we're doing is in cemeteries. Okay, that's because we're still fairly new to doing it here in Florida, so we're still learning a lot of the places to go to, and then getting permission to do brick buildings, or whatever type of building that we need to go into. A lot of places don't want you to do that, or you got to get permission, or there's a waiting list. So a lot of what we're doing now is cemeteries. So um, we just have to use what we got and see how it comes out. And we're we're coming up with quite a bit of stuff on our audio, and it's just amazing.
Well, I mean, at least you wasn't like us when we first got started. We were doing cemeteries and stuff too, starting off, and then we started to realize that uh, I think it was after our first building investigation, we had found out that people were basically charging to come in, investigate, and all that. And that's when you guys came on your first hunt with us, when we actually made that at the Stately Oaks Plantation.
That's what really drew me into it even more
Roy
because
wasn't, yeah, Roy
I was
wasn't
skeptical.
very
You know,
skeptical, about a lot of stuff. And, I was the same way. Even though I've had this going on for years and years since I was a kid, um, I still needed more proof. I had to have proof. I'm the type of person, if I see it, if I hear it, I'll believe it. Till then, you ain't going to tell me nothing or how it's going to work. Until then, and then you start getting these voices coming through and you start having things happen to you, or if you're touched, or if something happens, you know, it just gets to the point where, okay, now I've got to go more. I've got to find out more. Where's this coming from? I have to research it. I have to get more information. And it was funny because we were at a flea market a couple of weeks ago, and we were picking up some stuff, and we were talking to a guy about it, and he goes, "You guys are really enjoying this, aren't you?" He says, "Because you just light up when you talk about it." And it's like, yeah, unless you've been there and investigate and learn and find out what really does and doesn't come through and what happens and everything else, of it's just awesome.
And the more you find out, the more you want to go. You know, we found, well, actually Susie found him. I'm not sure where, but someone else who has the same interest and everything, and he's gone out on a couple investigations with us and everything, and he's actually led us to some really good places that were a cemetery that was for a town that is now out in the middle of a national forest, and the town is just gone. The only thing that is left of anything is this family cemetery. And boy, did we get some really good stuff from there. We actually have some from still pictures that you we see faces and people and stuff in the woods just outside of the cemetery. Um, they're posted on our site here, um, so people can look at them and see what you will. And we've had other people look at them and actually see more than what we saw.
Yeah. Well, I've also, when I posted some of these pictures, I had somebody come back and tell me that it's a pareidolia, is the way I'm pronouncing it. And what that is this tendency to see faces and other images, in random visual patterns. Like example, if you're looking at a cloud and you see a dog, or you see something in the cloud. Well, they kept trying to tell me that's what it was. And it's like, absolutely not. It wasn't, because for the fact that I took multiple pictures, still pictures, and Roy took a video. And in that, the still pictures, after I took that picture and you see this, it looks like an older woman standing there. And I don't know what the white light was, but you see this older woman standing there, and in the next picture in the same spot, it's not there. And the same thing with Roy when he's doing the video, he's taking a video and he's over there in that spot and there's nothing there. So I don't see it being, a pareidolia. Um, it 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 was something that was there and now it's not.
I can understand if you took like multiple pictures and that figure's still there, and you start
Right.
thinking, so okay, maybe it's the bark, maybe it's trying to contort a little bit with the picture taking. But if that figure disappears and you can't no longer see that figure, there had to have been something standing there that was
Yes.
so transparent that you could see the bark behind it,
And
but you
you
could
can
still pick it out.
you can see it's an actual older woman, it you can make it out perfectly.
That's the only issues with being outside doing it. It
Yeah.
messes you up with your eyes. But at the same time, we had one. I want to say it was at Stately Oaks when we had actually broken away from you guys. Me and Aaron had actually we had took a picture and we thought it was a figure, but it turned out it was just the way the camera had took it and it like moved so quickly. So that's when I started telling Aaron, stand still, then take the pictures.
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you, at Stately Oaks when we went out with you guys, there's a barn that's in the back of the property, and I'm not a person who gets scared easily. But I'll tell you what, I walked past her and I felt something that almost like terrified me. It's like I need to get away from this building. And as soon as I got past it and everything, it's like that feeling went away. I can't explain it. Don't know what it was. Don't want to go back there. So, but when I saw what happened to Susie in the parlor of that house with the scratches on her back, uh, that that just sold me on the idea right then. This is real. You know, um, that didn't just appear for no reason at all. Something put those scratches there. You know, and we need answers. We need to figure out something. You know.
Excuse me, y'all. Right. Um. Yeah. When she got scratched, that actually scared me because I thought that would have been like, because I think that was the first time we actually had guests with us to do an investigation, and I was afraid that was going to be like, oh, she got scratched. They don't want to go something with us no more.
Oh no.
No, that's when something happens to you. That triggers something in you that wants you to do more. Yeah. You know.
That reminds me. I did speak with the caretaker, the woman that we spoke with that night, and I brought up the whole thing about the doctor. And of course, like always, she didn't tell us. You remember at 1 o'clock in the morning when we were finishing up, she started telling us that most of that stuff was estate sale stuff.
Right.
That picture in there in the parlor, the guy wearing the kind of like a suit that was probably from late 1800s. That was the doctor.
Okay.
He was a psychologist
Oh,
who did
okay.
lobotomies.
Oh, great.
Wow.
But
Yeah.
apparently he didn't like women because remember that we were told also that a group had gone in there before, a week or so before, which we didn't know anything about. And I don't know how many of them girls got scratched.
That same group went in after us
Oh,
too.
after. Okay.
Before and
Oh,
after.
after.
They did a full weekend. They had remember the mannequin standing at the top of the stairs?
Oh,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
It got thrown at their lead investigator while she was coming up the stairs.
Wow.
I think she told me about five or six of her girls got scratched.
Okay.
All down in the parlor, and I think one up in like the kids' room.
Wow. See?
But then I found out there's up in the what is considered the main bedroom area. Um, there's supposedly a ghost in there that doesn't like men.
Okay.
Well, the
And
one bedroom at the top of the stairs over directly to your right, that's where Susie's got
yeah,
video of orbs.
Oh, the orb.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like I didn't see it until she went back and played the playback on a video and everything, and it's like it's there. It's very distinctive. Yeah, it's like you can't deny it.
right. I or I don't know really how I feel about orbs. They trip me out a little bit. But when you start seeing an orb come at you, stop, hover, and then young, yeah, that's like okay, that's not an insect.
No.
That's not even dust.
Well, there was no insects in there inside the building anyway that night. And as
Yeah.
you know, with Steven, when he was there, he's like, I had to call him back in and say, "Hey, Steven, look at this," and he's like, "Yeah, that thing just stopped, stood there, and then took off." And he goes, "That's definitely an orb."
Oh yeah. And I went over some of the evidence you sent me of that, and you definitely caught voices.
Oh yes, absolutely. Even that little boy, and I didn't catch that little boy's voice that I heard until like later. But oh yeah, there's definitely voices I've gotten.
Especially the schoolhouse. You guys were the only ones who caught evidence of that. Yeah, y'all actually caught evidence of there is a teacher in there,
Okay.
and there is a little kid.
Okay, see, I didn't hear, and you are able to hear some stuff that I'm not able to hear. But I'll tell
But
you,
you pointed out stuff that I didn't hear when
yes,
we was going over the that cemetery that we won't
right,
talk about.
right, right. Well, see, that's the thing though too. That's why a lot of times, um, I'll show you here. I keep like a journal of stuff, And what I do is I will, let me get to this page or papers. And what I do is I'll document everything that we have. And as you can see, I'll put times, what recording, if it came off of the digital recorder, if it came off of the video recording, what time it hit, a lot of times you can't, if there's a whisper, I'll put a whisper. I can't hear what they say. Or if I understand it, I'll put, hey, this is what they said, help me or whatever. Um, but I document everything that I do. Whatever we catch, it's documented, and we have it on the recording and on the video.
Gotcha. I mean, hey, it's best to be organized, best to go over it. And as far as I can tell, y'all doing a great job on it.
Well, we try to because it, tell you what, you get anybody ever comes back and they want to call BS on it. Say, I'll take you right to that spot on whichever tape I got. And listen for yourself. You know, it's
Well, I'll give you an example. One of the times, one of the cemeteries we went to, it was up in Gainesville, Florida, and we're walking. We're doing our stuff, and come up to this one gravesite, and we're looking, and it's a Vietnam veteran. Well, with this veteran, it looked like somebody, and it couldn't have been, but it looked like somebody piled a bunch of branches on top of his gravesite. And Roy goes, "Oh, hell no, that's disrespectful. We're
yes.
cleaning this off." So we're cleaning his graves off, taking the branches and the trees and everything off of it. And I'm cleaning around his headstone. Well, I put the cat ball on top of his headstone, and his name was Charles. I don't remember the last name without looking it up. But anyways, his name was Charles. And so we're telling him, Charles, we're gonna clean this up for you. We, want to make it nice and everything.
Yeah.
And we get something that comes through, and we told him, we says, talk into our devices. If you were holding these devices, if you want to talk into them, talk into these devices. I says, if we don't hear you now, we'll, maybe hear you later. And I also said about the cat ball. I says, I've got a cat ball sitting up on top of the headstone. I says, could you light that up? If anything, if at all possible, please light that up. Well, the cat ball lights up. Roy's videotaping all this now,
Oh yeah.
and he sees, the cat ball goes and lights up. And I thank him, thank you, Charles, for lighting the cat ball up. And then, well, I was assuming it was Charles at that time. So then I says, you know what? I says, can you do that one more time? I says, I'd really appreciate if you could do it. Cat ball lights up again. Okay. And it's like, good. Okay. So I've got my spirit talker on, right? On the app. And all of a sudden I says, it says there's a little girl near you, which there was. Two grave sites down was a little girl buried there. The little girl likes you. And I says, well, who am I speaking to? I says, could you tell me who I'm talking to? And through the spirit talker, it says, my name is Charles.
Oh, that's
So,
awesome.
So
yep. And I've
we
got it. And I keep, even on that, I keep the log, of proof of that. That's what came through. And here we were speaking to him. Actually, it was Charles.
because we went in meaning no harm or anything and showed him a great deal of respect by cleaning off his headstone and everything away from his grave because it looked like no one had been out there quite a while to do anything because it's an older graveyard and that's what you got to do when you go to a cemetery. You know, all the respect in the world, and I think they appreciate that because there's people that come out there and maybe want to desecrate a cemetery or whatever, and that causes anger in them. And but you go out and show them respect. I think you actually get a lot more hits.
Well, absolutely. And a lot of times what we do, every time when we do, if we see a veteran, we're always thanking them for their service.
Always.
Always, we tell them, thank you for your service and God bless you and rest in peace. And what we do too, I will go, um, take it up, Roy. My thing went out again.
What's that? Oh, you lost your video. Um, yeah, we're always doing this. Like on Memorial Day, we picked out two cemeteries that were within 20 miles of us. So we decided to go out to both of them and pay our respects to the veterans and see what else we could get. One of them actually is, I don't know if it would call it sponsored or whatever, but they have a big thing on there that shows whether it's a lot of the monuments and stuff is put up by the brothers and sisters or sons and daughters of the Confederacy.
Mm.
And if I'm not mistaken, there was probably it listed anywhere from 18 to 25 Confederate soldiers buried there.
Oh
And
wow.
oh yeah, there was Confederate flags, and there was a
And
lot
that
of
was
other.
only part of it. We didn't even go through the whole cemetery.
We just went on the older part because we went out earlier in the morning thinking, okay, we got to try to hit both of these cemeteries before noon because it's you know anybody's ever been down here to Florida, it gets hot, so we wanted to try to get both of those done at least by like 1 o'clock. But after that one was after we came back and listened to some of the stuff and Susie's spirit talker and everything. One of them said something about a demon, and it's like, yeah, well, you go back over into your part. We're not dealing with you. We're here to pay our respects. And we never heard nothing else about any demons or anything like that.
Well,
But
we just let them know you don't scare us. You know
yeah,
what? If you want, you need to leave. Um, but even when I go to when we see children's, I've got I'll go to like flea markets or garage sales, and what I do is I get little toys. And if there's a child's gravesite that we visit, I always, will try and talk to the child, whether they come back or not. I don't care. I always leave a little toy. And we went to one of these grave or cemeteries, and that was the one. Um, that was a very old one. It was a family cemetery out in the middle of a forest. Okay. And what we did is I had left. Here's another example. I had left a toy, and it was telling me it was a 9-year-old child that was buried there. And I says, okay, I'm going to leave you a little toy. And I left a little toy. And then on my spirit box, what do I get? Thank you. I like the toy.
yes,
Like we're talking minutes within after I laid the toy down by the headstone. And then we found out that the 9-year-old girl, it says her name was Sarah. And
Oh.
actually, Sarah came through on Roy on the video. Her voice came through on the video.
yes, and that's
Uh.
when we got feedback from with Al was with us. There was somebody said something about lung, and it comes to find out that Al had a few years previously. He'd had a double lung transplant. Yeah, but maybe somebody knew this. Maybe he mentioned it, whatever, because he'd been out there. That's how we knew about this. He's been out to that cemetery several times on his own. So he's built up like a reputation or whatever going there, and maybe some of these spirits got to know him and knew some of his story. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a good possibility.
Yeah,
I know
and
a
when they
lot of
know
people
something
do that.
personal about you, that you know something's up.
Back when, oh wow, back when me and Daddy and Aaron went up to Greensboro, we uh we were doing the whole thing with the cat balls on this like tree trunk. Basically, we had shoved them in there so far that they couldn't move, and all of a sudden they started getting played with. Well, we opened up the spirit talk. We kind of figured out that we were talking to a kid. He was probably about 14 years old, and he died in a farming accident. And unfortunately, his grave was lost to time because how they built the church and all that. And anyways, he liked cat balls so much, so I'm like, you know what? since you're talking to us and you're talking to us clearly enough to where we can have like a conversation, I'm gonna leave this cat ball here. And we talked to the caretakers of that church, and they're like, "Oh, you left a cat ball? That cat ball's gone. We don't know where it went." But then we found out the original church was like across the road into the woods.
Okay.
And I'm like, I bet you that cat ball's over in those woods.
Yeah, possible. Possible. That's why, like I said, I go. And anytime, most of these toys that I pick up are a quarter, very cheap stuff because people take them, and if they take something that's a quarter, whatever. If they're that desperate, take it. But like I says, I have to leave it. I have to leave a toy for all the children. I've got, matter of fact, I got a whole big bag full of toys over
And
here.
it was funny. She went to a resale shop and she was picking up all these toys, and they were like a quarter a piece. So she's like, okay, not a big deal. So she fills up this whole big bag, and
Yeah,
I guess,
it came up to be about $3.50 for all of them.
and I guess the lady asked her. She goes, "Oh, you got grandchildren?" She goes, "No, this is what we do with these. Is we take them out and everything." And she told that we do paranormal investigations, and she leaves toys for the children. And the lady thought that was so cool. She gave her the whole bag of toys for $1.
Oh wow!
Oh yeah,
See, I love because that shows people that we have respect for anybody, and no, that, just because we're not related to them or whatever. I mean, they were human once too.
absolutely.
Um, our first investigation that we did, which I wish I still had the footage to it, but it went somewhere into the cyberspace and just went poof, gone. Um, we were looking at the Wolford case, which here in the state of Georgia, well, and the country was the first like mass serial killing of 9 family members, and I think it was like 4 little children, an adult brother, and father and mother. Um, anyways, we got out there. The city's supposed to take care of it because it was a historic thing. It was not in good shape. So while we're setting up, Daddy went down there and started clearing weeds. And what was even more messed up, very next week, a documentary group came out there and filmed, and they're like, "Oh, look how well the city's been doing for this," and it's like, no, that wasn't the city that cleared that. That was us.
Right. Well, see, that's the nice thing about the one that was out that Al took us to out in the forest and everything. Um, the national forests, the foresters and everything, they they are the ones that actually, I guess, maybe go in there and take care of it or whatever. Because there was actually a wooden fence that was put around it, with like the chicken wire or whatever, keep animals and stuff out of it. But it was like it was well kept and everything. Um, but you could see evidence of what they do. What they do here in Florida is they do controlled burns, and it burns a lot of the stuff off the ground and everything, ground matter, and trees and everything, so it doesn't just get overgrown. And then you can see where it had scorched some of the fencing around it, but the fence stayed. It just the post burned. But it's still a place where they take care of, and I'm sure this when they go out there to look at it again, somebody will probably at some point in time replace those posts. But it's nice that the state actually sees that and respects it enough to take care of it.
Yep, and I'll tell you, we have done like since we've been here in Florida, we've been just mainly cemeteries and everything, and there has not been one that we've been to that we have not gotten anything back. Every one that we've been to, we have voices. You know, really, as much as videos, not a whole lot. But I'll tell you what, they're willing to talk to you.
Yeah, I mean, we weren't expecting much, but we weren't expecting to pick up the audio that we did off these cameras too. So it's like, yeah, I'll put them out there because you never know when something's going to happen. And heck, even that one that we went to, Susie, that was a family cemetery. It had a like a brick wall all the way around and everything. And I think there was only we only saw like 14 headstones, but supposedly
Mm.
there was like 21 graves in there. But I don't think there was any marker in there that was anybody born in the 1900s. There was a few that died in the 1900s, early 1900s, but for the most part, almost everybody in that cemetery was born and died in the 1800s.
Oh wow. Could it have been like they had like a homestead nearby and they probably
It
caught cholera
it
or
it was that was well, yeah,
That
but
was
they
a
weren't all
homestead.
together. I mean, as far as date wise and stuff, they were scattered all through the 1800s. So it was nothing where they all died at once, but it was definitely a family cemetery, and that's what we figured. It was um, the research that we did. Because we don't just pick out any cemetery. We do the research on the stuff first and see if there's any like historical significance, and um, that's you
Yeah,
know,
we don't go for just look for, oh, is it haunted or is it not haunted?
or
I'm not looking for a haunted cemetery. I we do a lot of historical stuff to look, just to go and see. And I love going to the ones that are, that old. We actually came across one that was in the 1700s. That's how
oh
old that it was.
yeah, in
ooh.
Micanopy, we went to that cemetery, and I would advise anybody that if you're going to go out to a cemetery and everything, research that it's open all the time and they don't lock it up at a certain time because we got there like at 3 o'clock and we walked around for 2 hours and we got a lot of footage and everything and we only barely got maybe a quarter of that cemetery. It's huge. But as we're going out, it's like 4:59 and there's somebody there locking up the gate. It's like one more minute and hey, we're spending the night.
It's actually funny you bring that up. Our first investigation was over in Rose Hill, and they got a gate and everything. So we're thinking to ourselves, okay, they close up at night. They got a guard post that someone has to open it up. But then I found out, no, they don't close the gates. And it's like, you telling me I could have went through that whole cemetery? But then I found out that there's a thing called the Rose Hill Skinwalker. And I'm like, okay, never mind. I am not stepping foot in that place at
There you
night.
go.
But it's
Yeah.
cool. It's cool, right? The Wolfert family is actually right there up the hill above the Allman Brothers.
Okay.
So we stopped by and we saw them, but I didn't know that they had actually had like these old Irish crypts that were like in the hillsides. And I found out those were like from the early 1800s going into the 1700s.
Okay.
And I didn't know that. I wish I did because I would have loved to have seen those.
There you go. Yeah, that would have been cool. Yeah. I even had somebody ask me one time, um, what happens to a haunted place? If you're in you're living in a haunted house or something and the house is haunted and they tear it down, what happens to the spirits with them? Well, I would typically, they typically attach to the ground, is what I would assume, um, or to the ground of the land, and they will haunt that. Is that right?
Right. Yeah.
Unless it's, or they'll attach to the ground, but if another home is built, then they can haunt that house, that new built home. Unless it's a poltergeist, and they usually attach to a person, to some people.
Right.
But you're understanding what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It
Sorry,
really, yeah.
I'm having a brain fart moment. But yeah, I mean, as far as what we've researched and what we've encountered, um, yeah, yeah, what you're saying, yeah, you're correct.
Yeah, because if say this house here is haunted and it burns down to the ground, well, that doesn't get necessarily get rid of the spirit. It would attach to the ground that it's on, unless you built another home,
Mhm.
in the same spot.
Yeah, I think it's more if the house burnt. Well, yeah, good scenario. House burns down to the ground. There's already a spirit inside of it. You're basically releasing it and saying, "Hey, go wherever you want," and it has a choice of
Oh,
whether staying or it could go find another home.
well, then it better go to the unemployment office for ghosts and go somewhere else because
It's just gonna come and find you, Susie, and live with you. Yeah.
no,
Or
I assumed it would attach to the ground that the house burnt, or got torn down, not
It,
necessarily burnt or got torn down or something.
it,
or or they it could have so much energy put into that land that it has to stop at a certain point, or it has that ability to go further
Okay.
because
it may go
it's still
attach
going
itself to a tree or something. You never know. I mean,
right.
well, you never know. Look at that thing that we had in that cemetery that time that you were scanning with your phone or whatever, and it came up with something that was showing in a tree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah,
I don't know how accurate that is or whatever, but it's
that
still.
wasn't, yeah, that was just picking
I'm
up on
not
the
ignoring
tree.
y'all.
Yeah,
But
but
it seemed like there was some kind of an energy in that tree.
yeah.
I sorry y'all. I'm looking at the chats. Apparently, I've been neglecting the YouTube chat.
Uh-oh.
Oh yeah, there's some questions that pop up you're supposed to ask, huh?
No, no, we got Daddy in the chat. We got Kim in the chat. We got everybody from Georgia teams in the chat.
Oh, cool. Hi, guys.
Yeah. Why don't I see their smiling faces
Hey,
on
you
here?
know what? Good. If he can hear us and he's seeing us, then you need to tell your dad that he needs to take Rolo and have us talk with him. If he's going to go shutting the lights on and off and moving furniture, he needs to get a mop or a broom and start cleaning up. Put his
Ah.
butt to work.
Oh yeah. Kim's over here talking about hello, am I chopped liver? No, we're not ignoring y'all.
Hi, Kim,
Hi, Kim.
and the rest of the Georgia team.
Yeah, we just been talking. I mean,
Yep.
Pretty,
um,
pretty, pretty much like we do all the time when we get together. Hey,
mm,
this is friendly chat. That's how we are.
let's
Yeah.
see. One of the questions that popped in from Twitter. Are there any locations or phenomena that you are particularly passionate about exploring?
We would like to go do several spots in St. Augustine, and I would love to get permission or whatever to go do the lighthouse. Um,
Mm.
but I don't know how hard that is or you know
You're
what they
talking about
would
the one.
charge. Yeah.
You're talking about the one where they see the girl on top, like looking out into the ocean.
No, I one where there's been evidence where somebody puts up a camera looking straight up the center because it's a spiral staircase leading up to the top, and they have an infrared camera that shows someone at the top staring over the railing,
The
looking down at
shadows.
the camera shadow,
Ooh.
and that's documented. And it's like, okay, there's nobody in that lighthouse except for the people that are on the ground floor. So um, there are several places reported to be in St. Augustine that are supposedly have apparitions or spirits or whatever. Um, we would just love. We're the type of people though. I'm not going on a tour. I never will do that because to me, that's something that is
They put that in your
manufactured.
mind. Yeah.
That's manufactured for profit. You know,
Right.
if I
Oh,
want,
look at this. Did you see that? Oh, you missed it. It was a shadow guy and this. No, 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 no. I don't want somebody to tell me. how to do it. I know how to do it, you know. Um,
If I
Uh,
don't see it or hear it, it didn't happen.
Kim in the chat says that they went to that lighthouse.
yeah, we've
Oh,
been to
we've been
that
there too.
lighthouse too. Matter
I
of fact, I think the daughters, there were two girls, two daughters that were playing around the bottom, and there's a park there, and those girls are supposed to, they drowned, and they're supposed to, you're supposed to hear them or see them swinging on the swing, or hear them in the park.
oh, see, I've been to the one in Tybee, and I think we got up um what is basically the equivalent of the fourth story, and I was just sitting at that window going, "Oh God, I'm too fat for this."
I'll tell you what, uh, they're
That
they're a hell of a thing to climb. Let me tell you, I
Yeah.
can go up. I have no problem going up. I just can't come down. My problem is I have to put my hand on Roy's shoulder and walk down the stairs
and
because I have a problem coming down.
we would have to stop at pretty much every landing to where she could get against the wall and just gather herself up before we could take it down. It's just going down that spiral staircase, she had to stay pretty much against the wall going down.
Well, that staircase is like only that wide, you know, and it's like holy crap, and it's steep going down in circles, and it's like forget about it. But I mean,
This
I don't have a problem going up there and investigating it. I would.
this is
Well,
also a woman that has a fear of heights looking or going down the staircase there. But yet we went to the Grand Canyon and I wouldn't get within 10 feet of the ledge and I don't have a fear of heights. She's got like her toes hanging off the edge and say, "Hey, look at this." It's like, no, that's okay.
um, it's crazy because when me and Aaron found the lighthouse in Tybee, we actually went there because of the fort, Fort Screven, which is a battery location. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, we're gonna go. We're gonna, just because I heard that not many people used to go through it to see the museum. Then I found out that they closed the museum and they were turning the fort into apartments.
Wow.
And I'm
We've been to
like,
that place on Tybee. We stopped there. We didn't really go in or nothing.
oh,
But
Fort
remember when
Screven,
we went to when we spent a few days in Savannah and we drove out to Tybee and we saw
the
that
Florida
fort and
trip,
everything. We
yes.
pulled off and just looked at everything. We never actually went into it or nothing. But
Yeah, but I would really, to answer, any questions like that, I would really love to go into a hospital, an old hospital, a
mental
old
institution, something like that.
mental
Yeah,
institution. I'd like to investigate.
prison. Yeah, an old closed down prison.
Yeah,
Yes.
something really exciting.
Um, right, it's like right now, after the jail, I would love to get us the hospital in South Pittsburgh, Tennessee, which is I think $600 for 10 people. I think I have
Okay.
to look it back
60
up.
buck a piece. Count us in. Hey,
Yeah, I'm going.
I'd be up there.
Um, and then of course there's Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary, which is on the border of Petra, Tennessee, in Georgia. It's where the guy that shot Martin Luther King. That's where he got held up for a while.
Okay.
They want 1,500.
Whoa.
Yeah.
See, to me, that's they're just playing off people's curiosity and looking for a profit. You know,
Well, the Titanic Museum in Pigeon Forge, they want 2 grand a night.
Oh, that's crazy. Come on. When you
Uh,
have the groups like us, a small group, how do you do stuff like that? We don't get anything,
are you talking about
sponsors or
the
nothing that
Casaria,
we can go.
Fort Casarillo,
that's just like
Casarillo?
not too far from us as we have the you know, Ma Barker and her boys and stuff. They lived, and it's
Mm,
like 10 miles away from us. Okay, but then we start to find out that the house that where they had the big shootout and everything has been moved. It's out on an island, so you can't have access to the actual property because it's on a lakefront, and the people bought the property, moved the house, and they had the property and it's private property. You can't go on it. So if your spirits have actually attached themselves to the ground, if the house is gone, what are you going to get at the house that's been moved out to an island? And the thing is, they're playing off of people's thing for profit because now it's a 2 year wait to get in there for this.
Gee.
And I've not read anything where anybody's ever documented hearing anything of the paranormal at that house. You know,
Right. I think if anything, they're attached to the property. If it, not the house anymore.
Yeah, especially when there was a big event that happened. Like I think it was the longest standoff between law enforcement and a gang.
Right.
yes,
So yeah, something like that. I could see it being like the land itself because it had that whole area engulfed in it.
Right.
Um. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, let me ask you a question. If
What's
you're
up?
at a haunted house, okay, and somebody's calling you inside, do you go?
Um.
Think
Okay.
about it.
This might be a hat on top of a hat. Uh, is it the voice of someone random or is it my voice?
Nope, somebody random.
Oh, okay. Hmm.
Do you go inside to investigate?
Something would tell me, yeah, kick the door in, let's go do it. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, you're gonna end up dead. You're gonna be the white person in every movie that dies.
yep. No matter what situation it is, it's been in a movie. And it never turned out right. Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's always the guy named Billy. And
Yeah.
Well, hey, the good thing is, yeah, I've never seen Roy walk into any place, and he's usually the guy that's in the building, with the chainsaw, But
Okay. Well, you know what? I'd really have to think about it if it was me, because if I'm hearing a voice or calling me to come inside, first of all, how do you know me? If I ain't been inside that place yet, and then you got to think, bad spirits, they can
Nor, nor Stephen.
call you anything or whatever, It's like,
maybe it's a friendly spirit.
I don't know.
I always say this: the friendlier ones are the ones that don't call your name at night. The ones that call your name at night are the ones that want to do something to you.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'd be thinking twice about walking in.
That's why I'm not kicking the door in because if he's already pissed and wanting you to come in, I just made him that much more if you kick
Hmm.
the door in.
Crazy enough, I've been seeing a lot more videos online, but there's a big rise in like mimics, people that mimic your voice and stuff, and that's that's my worst fear. Is just
Oh
be doing an
yeah,
investigation, and all of a sudden I could hear Daddy or Aaron say, "Hey, come over here," and all of a sudden I'm
right,
thinking to myself, "Wait a minute, didn't I see him go that way?"
right.
Yeah, that's the scariest thing that. Uh, wait, what did that say?
Yeah, I've been asked, how do we prepare too, also, for going out on on an
Mm.
investigation. And the big key words are research. You know, make sure your equipment, everything is charged up on your equipment. Make
Right,
sure all
Ashley.
that stuff is ready to go. Make sure the weather conditions are good if you're going out.
Mm.
A lot of things. It's a mentally prepare yourself too when you start going, to any of these investigations. It's not just, oh, we get up and go. It doesn't work
No,
like that. You just got to, you have to prepare for each one, and each one is different. Depending upon where you're going, they're all different.
Yeah, and especially every time you go, you realize, okay, there's something else that we missed. We need to evolve with this. We need to adapt, overcome it, and almost every investigation, there's something new that you had to overcome. All right. Oh,
it's
you
like
go
now
ahead,
we're
Roy.
we're we're going for one. We're going on an investigation right after this podcast. Yeah. but we're doing this one later in the day because it's going to be like 103 degrees with the heat index here in Central Florida. So we're going to do it a little later. Um, but we started researching this and prepping this last weekend. We've had all week to get everything set up and make sure all our equipment is charged up. You know, we're set to go.
And every place, another thing too. Not all places are haunted. You know, while some locations can be haunted, you know, a lot of haunts are like history, tragedy, that you're more likely to get something out of something like that. But you can't go to places and expect something to happen all the time. It doesn't. There's no time schedule. Hey, I'm going to be here at 6. I want somebody here at 6:15 to start talking to me. It doesn't work like that.
That's right. We're not going on a ghost hunt because you don't know what you're going to find. We're
Right.
going on a paranormal investigation,
Yeah.
and you just you hope you find something. And
Right.
it's something good. You know,
That's what most people don't realize, that those people on TV, they get a whole week to do what they need to do. Us people who are just out here doing it to the best of our ability, we get one night.
Right.
And most
Yeah.
of the
Or
time,
so
that's not
many
even,
hours. Yeah. Right.
yeah. All right. I'm gonna set this up to take a quick little break. That way we can all do what we need to do,
Okay.
and
No problem.
we'll be right back. Okay, we're back. That was good.
Hope you all enjoy those commercials.
um, one of the questions that came in were, oh good God, we were just talking about that too.
We'll be fresh on our minds then.
Do you host public events, tours, or educational programs?
Well, listen to the podcast. That's all our educational programs we have.
Right. I've thought about like going to the library and reserving and putting out pamphlets and stuff for like doing like a paranormal one-on-one thing with the community. But I feel like that's been so saturated by other paranormal groups. This is about the best I'm going to be able to get when it comes to our stuff.
I mean, us ourselves, we're still learning. Okay,
Mm.
so uh, we, if somebody had questions or whatever, we could try to answer. But yeah, this is something we're still learning, and it's something that we don't know if we'll ever know everything about it. So it's all about your research and the planning and everything. So uh, we ask questions, other people can ask us questions. That's great. Um, knowledge is the key.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And I've had people ask also too, how do you protect yourself? When you go on your investigations and everything. And what we do, personally, we carry our crystals. We carry, some our tiger eyes we wear. We also, before every investigation that we go on, before the investigation and after the investigation, is a prayer is sent. And we always ask that, God protect the circle and everybody that's there and make sure, and you always let them know, do not let the spirits, you have to let the spirits know, do not attach to you or your equipment or anything like that too. So there's things that you have to do too, to protect yourself and your circle or who's going with you. And always respect. You always show respect no matter where you go to the spirits.
Yep. Totally agree. Um, Same thing for us. We use crystals. I think at this point we've got because multiple of us are not the same denomination. I think most of us have gotten to the point where we do something before the investigation and after, just to make sure, and then we publicly announce to whatever's there, hey, you're not allowed to attach, you're not allowed to come home, nothing. You need to stay right here where you're at.
Absolutely. And when we go in, we always let them know. We always tell our names. I'm Roy. I'm Sue. This is Roy. We're here. We mean no harm. We're just here to talk to you if you want to talk, and stuff like that.
And like Ashley just pointed out in the chat, grounding also, grounding yourself,
Right.
making sure you're good. And
Right.
before every investigate, I always make sure that everyone's mindset is clear. You're not going to have anything what I call the armor. You don't have anything open that something's going to take advantage of you.
Absolutely. Well, that's like with Al. We had him over to the house. I mean, Al's going on a couple of investigations with us. We're teaching him some of the stuff and everything. And one of the first things I had asked Al, I says, you know what? We need to know, do you believe in God? And he said, he absolutely said he did. And I says, whether you were atheist or not, you did or didn't, we still need to know because if you get a demon spirit or if you get somebody, they'll play one against another and they'll go to somebody that doesn't believe in God, and they'll play us, and we need to know before we go in.
Right.
And never go on an investigation thinking that you're gonna find something. That's not always the case. If you do, that's great. You're lucky. You know, sometimes you can be out there for an hour or whatever, and you come back and you listen to review all your tapes and audio and video and everything, and you got nothing. You know,
Yep.
you got a bird chirping or something out there, but it's not any kind of a spiritual voice or anything. Um, and then you're going to find times that you know what you got you got spirits that don't want to shut up. You hear all kinds of good stuff, and it's like, yeah, that's you've had a great day.
Oh
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
and that's the thing. You have to analyze everything. That's another thing. You just don't go out and just do without analyzing. You have to come back, and that's hours of listening to videos. You're watching videos, listening to recordings. We may have been out there for an hour, but it takes me 3 hours to go and listen to it again. I hear something, I document it, go back again and listen again, and then I will have somebody come, either Roy or my son, come and say, I don't tell them what it says. I'll say, what do you hear? What does it say at this time? And they'll either say the same thing that I've got written down, so I mean, that's time consuming. It
Oh
takes
yeah.
hours to do all this.
Yeah, you need verification. Just because you heard it, not necessarily, did it happen? Maybe I'm hearing something. Like me, I don't hear the best. So if I hear something, and then Susie hears it, she may hear a lot more than me. And then we turn around, we have our son Kyle come and listen to verify that too. Did you hear something? Can you make it out? What did they say? Was it muffled or something? Hey, um, but you verify everything.
Let me ask y'all this: when you're doing the verifying process, and you ask someone else like, "What do you hear?" If they come up with something else than what you're hearing, do y'all usually write down, unintelligible or?
I will go back and I will listen to it again. If I hear, for example, help me, okay, and somebody else hears it and it's different, well, I'll go back and listen to it again, and then again and again, and then, I mean, a lot of times it'll come out crystal clear. It says, help me, and then there's whispers, and you have to really listen and go over. Those are hard, and some are, you can try and make out, but you don't. And then I just leave it as, I'll put a question mark because I don't know. I have no clue what they're saying, but there's something there. They're saying something, but you just can't
Mm.
make it out.
Yeah, I usually write down unintelligible, or when it sounds something close to it, they put question mark right next to it.
Yeah.
And that way, when I'm asking people, what do you hear in this? I won't just outright tell them, hey, it sounds like it says this.
No, I
No,
never
no,
say
she
what it
never does.
says. No, never.
Mm.
Never tell them what it says.
And and the thing is, you'll get some, and we have that. You
No,
swear that person's
you didn't.
standing right next to you,
Oh my God. Yeah,
crystal clear and loud.
they sound like they're standing talking right into your microphone. It's so crystal clear, and like you could just touch them if they were there, if you could see them. But it never fails. We're out investigating, and what do we get? Airplanes. Every
Oh,
place we go to is those
So
stinking airplanes
so
flying
so
over, the propeller.
so be prepared if you're going on an investigation. Take into account uh, how close to a city you are, how close to a road you are, how close to an airport you are. Um, because when we were back out in the national forest or whatever, you know, granted, there's the nearest road is 2 miles away, but being that there's nothing out there, we occasionally got a car noise out there because sound does travel. So
mm,
or you're never going to be able to get away from the airplanes. They're going to be just about everywhere. But um, the closer you are to more civilization or well-traveled areas, everything, um, when you go to do your verification and your listening of what you recorded, take into account some of those background noises. You know, they may be something natural.
yeah, you talk about noise traveling. When we went out to Ball's Ferry, there was a time when I think it was me, Aaron, and Bob. We were up on the like this like little cliff area that jumps right into the river, and I think we were just walking back, and all of a sudden I hear pow. It was a car tire blowing on the bridge. It scared me so much. I thought someone had taken a shot at me. Either that, or I thought it was something residual from the battle itself, and it scared the living daylights out of me.
Oh, I could imagine. Yeah. Even, and being in some of the cemeteries, some of them that we went to were so far back off the road, which I really liked because it was nice and quiet. But the echoing, you still hear it. It could be 2 miles away and you hear that motorcycle going boom, 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 boom,
Which is
Uh,
why, like with my camera, I was getting a lot of wind noise. So you got to take that into account too. If you're going out, whatever, um, make sure you get something that like I just purchased it. We're going to go out and try it today and everything. It will actually help muffle any wind noises. So hopefully, the clarity of a lot of our recordings will be a lot better. And because, like I was telling Billy during the break, I don't know how much stuff we may have missed because it may came through while I was picking up wind
oh,
noise.
it was an 18
You know,
wheeler? Okay, I had it. Oh. Um, oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say too, on one of the investigations we were at, and it was funny because Al had came over. He had asked us if he could come over and listen to some of the evidence, that we had and everything. And we're going over everything, and he's sitting here, and at one of the cemeteries we were at, I said it's getting kind of quiet here. I says nobody's talking. I says, can any of you guys say our names? I says, Sue, can you say Sue? Can you say Al? Can you say Roy? You know, and then all of a sudden you hear it go, Sue. And Al said the hair on his arm stood up.
Um, apparently, everybody in the chat is wanting y'all to do, go through your equipment. Like, what all equipment do you use?
Okay. They want to see it or they want us just to describe it?
Do you want to see it, or do you want them to describe it?
we're not done buying everything we need to get. I mean, there's a lot more stuff we'd like to get. I mean, if people think they watch Ghost Hunters and they see these people that got thousands and thousands of dollars worth of stuff, hey, guess what? They got backing to buy all of that stuff, right? They got
Yeah.
thousands of feet of cable and all that. That's hey, sorry, that's not what your regular paranormal investigator is gonna have, right? That's a TV show.
I was just about
Um,
to say, have y'all heard of this new one that's called oh, it's called the Shadow Line or something. It literally looks like Christmas lights on a jump rope.
Oh, yes, I've seen that. Yeah.
Hey
Uh,
Billy, you able to bring up any of the pictures that that I had from some of the stuff of our equipment that we had in our equipment room? Off of
I can, yeah. Hold on.
Yeah,
Well,
because if
then
they're
that would,
asking
yeah.
questions, you can bring it up. That would actually show a lot of what's there, and if anybody wants an explanation in on what certain things are, we can show.
There we go.
Okay, as long as they're able to see it, that'd be great. Yeah.
Um, before I forget, that's all my kids. Wait, today's Father's Day?
Yeah, because I think I put a few pictures in there, but um, I've got an EMF meter, which is actually showing your electromagnetic fields and stuff. And what that's going to show is if you get any spikes in any electrical a field or whatever. Um, a lot of times,
Oh,
when you go out in the cemetery, or whatever, um, there's no electricity out there. You know,
mm,
we did go across one time. That's like, okay, I got a spike, but then I found out that was because there was a well in the middle of the cemetery, and it was actually what they used for watering stuff. But um, other than that, if you get a spike out there somewhere in a cemetery that has no
Oh, okay.
electricity, you're definitely picking up something. You know, I do have a handheld um, thermometer, laser thermometer, whatever. If I'm looking for um, cold or hot spikes. But then my EMF actually has one built into that also. Um, then I've got our cameras. Um, I've got two. I'll call them like clone GoPros. They work exactly the same. They got all the equipment for mounting them and everything. I've got um, a camcorder that has infrared on it. That not what I'd call a true like night vision or whatever, but it actually will pick up very low light stuff, so you could use it at night and everything. It came with a very good microphone, detachable microphone that came on it. Um,
Yep, we have our digital recorders. We use our phones for stuff too.
yep.
Just our recordings. Sometimes I'll use my phone for recordings too. I'll have them both going.
What I did find though that being 65, I'm not as steady as I used to be, so holding a camera. So Susie's
Oh
like, "You're
yeah,
driving me nuts because you're shaky." So
shaky was one thing. No, I had to take Dramamine because he's going zoom zoom, and it's like you
I
can't do that.
I have a tripod now, so the camera's gonna be mounted on a tripod. I've got a little 10-inch tripod for one of the GoPros. Usually the third GoPro or the second GoPro is mounted on a hat mount or my head, or I could put it on like a selfie stick and carry it around. Um, Depending, you could do them however you want it. You could set your cameras up whichever way. You don't have to have a lot of cameras. It's up to you. Um, my camcorder is the one who picks up the the sound. The two GoPros, pretty much, they're in a waterproof case. They're not picking up a lot of sound. They're just looking for any video and everything. They got great video, but sound wise and whatever, I'm not picking up a lot from them. There is, we haven't done a lot of night stuff, so I wasn't in a hurry to go out and buy my infrared handheld camera. You know,
Yeah, well, it's
so
hard to do night stuff because we got so many lions and tigers and bears, oh my, out here, and snakes and gators, and I don't know if I want to go to some of these places at nighttime unless
yeah,
it's indoors.
Yeah, that was one of our biggest fears when it came to Balls Ferry. We were afraid some swamp puppies were going to come up off that land, and then
Oh yeah. Well, one of the one place we went that was in the forest. I should have took a picture. I was going to take a picture. I should have of the bear paw. That
yeah,
was in the sand. It's like, oh, you just stay where you got to stay and don't come here.
yeah, continue in that direction you were going there, friend.
Absolutely. Yeah, and then you just have cat ball and stuff like that. I picked up a bell. I was telling you that one day about a bell. I picked up an old
Oh yeah,
service
yeah,
bell. And
yeah, but like Office Depot or something like that, or somewhere.
yeah,
It's
I
like
have
$10.
I had Roy mounted on a piece of wood, so it's stable. And because I've heard that they'll ring a bell sometimes too. So
yeah. There's actually a new. I think it came out a couple months ago. Crazy enough, it was the same concept. A bell on a piece of wood, and it's got wires running from it to like an EMF meter. So every time it gets hit, you can kind of see like some electricity that had been used to actually hit the bell.
Oh, that'd be cool. So, well, maybe what I can do is I can put my EMF meter near the bell and see if
Yeah,
because the thing is, it has to get up to 50 to actually light up the EMF in red. That knows
yeah,
that's a strong enough to hit that knows you picked up something. Yeah.
yeah. I think it's when it's in the yellow, it's like that type of spirit that's kind of like just sitting there. It's idling, and then when it actually does something, that's when it strikes the red.
Yeah. So the one I've got doesn't really go like it's got the several LEDs on it that sweep up to from green to yellow to red.
Mhm.
Mine is just pretty much it. When it lights up red, That's you. It's either nothing or red, but you can still read the signal that's
Mm.
in it, and a lot of it's made more or less for, say, industrial use. Say you're walking through and you want to find wiring in your walls and stuff. Anything that's electrical in your house that's got electricity running through it, you would pass by that and it'll light up. Um, that's that's telling you need a strong enough signal to be able to light it up. You know,
Right. Well,
But all I can say is anybody that, wants to whatever start or get investigate whatever, the whole thing is the main whole thing with it is research, 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 and you know, there's
believe because if you
there's more
don't, if
to it than you think, and you don't go out there thinking in the mindset that there's nothing to it. There's a lot to it,
yeah,
a whole lot to it.
you may go out on several investigations and say, you know what, I got nothing. This is you know, not worth my time or whatever. Keep at it. If this is something you think that is something you want to do and enjoy, keep at it. Once you start
Yep.
getting those hits, you're gonna say, wow, what more can I get?
Right. Always protect yourself, your circle. Always respect, everything and everyone, even though, like Billy said, they used to be human at one time, and they need the respect. And I think every time you show respect is when you get more out of them. They really know it.
yeah, and of course, if you come across a demon, well, you can tell it to do what I said in that one video. I'm not going to repeat
Absolutely.
it.
Yeah, run.
um, speaking of which, y'all haven't adopted any type of um, you know, another airplane moment.
Then you must be in
Training.
one of our videos with the airplanes.
No, the thought was coming in, and then it went.
We haven't
Um,
adopted what?
training protocols. Have y'all adopted any training protocols for new members?
No.
Okay.
No, because like I say, the only person we've got associated with right now is with Al. Um, Al is like a historian, and he used to be a
Mm.
school teacher, and he
He used to be a park ranger too.
yeah, so he's seen stuff and he's been doing stuff on his own, but he wanted to get with us to learn stuff, and then we learn from him. So it's you know whoever you let in and everything, vet them good, know what you know their limitations are, what their knowledge is, what they're
It's a
willing to
teaching
learn.
moment, a teaching for us and a teaching
Everybody.
for him.
Well, all right. Speaking of which, I'm gonna ask y'all this: what is your thoughts on people who think that all spirits are demons?
That's
Oh,
not
that's
true.
not true.
Yeah, that's yeah. You know,
How can that be true? That's not true. All spirits are not demons.
This past week, I have had comments from I I was about to call him a dirty person, but yeah, basically talking about that we shouldn't be doing this, we shouldn't be allowed to do this. It was against everything.
Why?
well, that's
Well,
that's that's their
that
belief. That's fine. Hey, you know, um, well, like your dad, we served our country for people to have their beliefs. You know, and more power to them. You can believe what you want.
yeah, but those
Don't force
people
your
like
belief on
that,
me, though. Yeah,
that's it. If they're going to push it on me, I'm going to anybody like that, I'm going to take my
push back.
service ball and glue it to their forehead and just bang it.
Ding. Oh
And
god.
if every spirit was a demon,
Yeah,
wouldn't you
could
think
you
this whole world would
imagine?
be chaos? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
I
every
mean, it's come on, people. It's
no,
common
that's
sense. Not every spirit is a demon.
Nah, I mean that's like them saying, "Oh, the aliens are demons." If that's true, why haven't they attacked us yet?
Yeah. Well, you sure they haven't?
I
And I'm
mean,
saying no more.
I'm not going. Our current administration kind of make me think that they lizard people, but
Yeah, we won't go there.
like I
Let's
tell
keep it.
Aaron,
Let's keep it with the spirits, not political.
like I tell Aaron, I signed up for ghost hunting, not crypto hunting.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Um, besides that, I bet you already ran out of questions for Twitter.
I mean, it's it's something we've learned to enjoy more and more. The more we do it and everything, the more we investigate, the more we find, and it's like it's not just a hobby. It's something. It's like this is cool. It's unexplained. You search for answers. When you talk to some of these spirits.
How do y'all usually handle? I don't think y'all have been attacked since Stately Oaks. Have y'all?
No, no, not at all.
That was the only time. Okay.
Well, I wasn't.
Um.
Yeah, I wouldn't attack. It was just Susie says that woman hater. Doctor that was in there.
Yep. Doctor Weissman. I think she said his name was, which
Nope, and I've
doesn't
never
surprise me.
been to a place where I've been scared. Well, other than Stately Oaks, that time that was just a very uneasy feeling. But um,
Well, that's another thing
since
too.
then,
You
no.
you don't let them know. You don't tell them I'm scared of you or you scared me or whatever. To me, if you say stuff like that out loud, that's more for them to
Well,
attach, not attach, but get to you more.
but I didn't say it at the time,
No, no,
so
no. I'm not saying you. I'm just saying people should not tell. If you're
Yeah.
investigating, saying,
right.
"Oh man, you're scaring the holy crap out of me." Don't ever say that out loud or let them know that because you're an easy target.
Yeah, it's just like with Ball's Ferry. Something was calling to Aaron, and I had the spirit. I heard the spirit box going at the time. Aaron had done walked over there. Bob had done walked over there, and I was kind of like falling behind, getting to him. But what I was getting is the thing that was trying to like get Aaron to come to it was trying to tell Aaron to come kill me,
Oh, really?
and I'm like, oh, you barking up the wrong tree.
Absolutely. Just you. You just
But in
don't show them
reality, it
fear.
scared the hell out of me.
Oh, I'm sure it did. Nobody's saying not to be scared, but don't let
Mm,
them know it.
right. You gotta keep some emotional control, which I mean comes with practice, training, and discipline,
Absolutely.
willpower.
Yeah.
uh, like Ashley said, spell check.
Spell check.
Yeah, putting a spell on you.
Oh,
There you
there you
go.
go. Yeah.
But crazy enough, I'd actually found out about that place that back in the early years there used to be like shacks all on that river.
Okay.
So it wouldn't surprise me if someone was very murderous back there.
Oh, all right. Matter of fact, 4th of July weekend, we're going to Punta Gorda. We're going to
Ooh.
go visit my son and daughter-in-law out there and stay a few days. And we're going to go to one of the cemeteries out there. But Gilcrest, uh, Punta
Park.
Gorda, back in the day, a lot of Indians and everything. Comes to find out, there's a lot of hauntings going on in a lot of the homes out there. For the fact to come to find out that it was built. Gilcrest is
Park.
a park and an area out there, and it was built on top of an old burial ground.
Indian Cemetery.
Oh yeah,
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
So, and the thing is, that's one we've been to. Our son used to go there and do live action role playing at night. So it's open all night. Lights lit up, everything. So that's one I think I want to go when it's cooler and go like around midnight or whatever, and maybe there are less people out there, whatever. So we'd have the place to more to ourselves, well, other than the homeless people. I'm sure they're sleeping there.
Right. But say,
But
I'll always stay prepared.
oh yeah,
Oh
and
yeah.
plus there's another one out there. We lived there for 20 years and never thought nothing about it because we weren't doing that at the time. And there's another one that's out there that's it's listed in one of the places of haunted cemeteries for Florida, and that's we've been to the cemetery before, been past it many times, never stopped in to do any investigation, but we're gonna do that while we're down there.
See, Florida's got some good places, and I wish
Oh, we just got
Georgia
all the
would.
crazy people that are down here. They've done
Right.
some bad things. Yeah.
We, I think me and Daddy were on the phone talking one day, and I was talking about how I wish I could get us like an asylum,
Oh, that would be
because
cool.
because you
Yeah.
see all the big ones, like Penhurst and all that up north, and I did find an asylum. Unfortunately, it's in a very well, I wouldn't say it's in a very bad neighborhood. It's in a national forest near Atlanta, and it's fenced off. But you see the pictures of it and everything, and you start seeing bullet holes in the wall. That tells you right there what it's used for: drug deals.
Well,
Oh yeah. I'd be
Uh,
cautious on that one.
mm. And of course, everybody wants to go down to Savannah, and I mean,
if anything else, Savannah's a beautiful city.
oh yeah, yeah. Me,
Yeah,
me
it's
and
nice.
me and Aaron spent our first anniversary down there,
Only
and
problem
Oh,
is
that,
there was too many places that giving ghost tours.
yeah.
right. Crazy enough, that Italian World War II helmet I got it from Webb Military Museum, and the person that owns it, he told me 90% of everything in here has seen combat, and that struck me. It was interesting, and then I saw in the window, black cat crawlers. He lets a group come in here and do their ghost hunt stuff, and didn't think much of it at the time, but now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, almost every major business that has something to do with ghost hunting or has potential for ghost hunting has some group that comes in at night, and it's getting oversaturated. I mean, I would love to do Webb Military Museum just privately. That would be a trip, because I mean he's got stuff in there from every war in it. Um, but yeah, it's just a matter of finding the correct place.
Oh, okay. Um, and really, before we go, I don't know if it would be more towards Mandy or not, but someone had asked too that someone had moved to a home, okay, and they were there for like 2 years, and they've had nothing but bad luck in this house. They were kind of like asking, is bad luck tied to anything paranormal? And I don't know if that would be something like for Mandy.
That probably would be. I could ask.
Yeah, ask
I mean,
her because I don't know. I don't know how to answer that one.
were they having like continuous like bad luck for like two
Ever
years?
since they moved into this home, okay, there's no paranormal activity going on in the home. But ever since they moved into this home, they've lived there for 2 years, and the whole 2 years that they've lived there, they've had nothing but bad luck. So they
I,
were just more or less like asking if any paranormal activity or any paranormal is tied to
bad
an
luck.
ongoing bad luck.
Yeah, I'll definitely ask Mandy,
Yeah, ask her
because
that.
yeah, because to me that sounds like okay. If there's nothing happening on the inside of the house, could there be something happening on the outside, on the
Yeah,
property itself?
I don't know. And
And
they,
if
yeah, I don't know what
mm,
bad luck they were having, but
Because
that's the way it was put.
yeah, because the only thing I could really tie that to is maybe an elemental that might be causing bad luck.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll definitely ask her.
Okay. Yeah.
If she's not watching right now, I don't know if she is, but yeah, I'll definitely ask her.
Okay. Sounds good.
But yeah, I guess we can go ahead and wrap this up. I know y'all gotta go sun tonight, and I
Yep.
hope y'all stay safe and have fun. Hope y'all catch the best evidence you can ever get.
Me too.
Well, like I say, it's hit or miss, but man, it seems like in Florida, just pretty much every place we've gotten, knock on wood, we've gotten something, even whether
Yeah.
it's minimal or what. But
We've
man,
never come back empty-handed on any investigation yet.
well, to be fair, I mean it is Florida. I mean y'all are
Yeah.
one of the oldest states in the country,
Right. And I'm not,
so
and I just want to make sure that we let everybody know too. I say when we come back, it's mostly voices.
mm,
It's not, we're not getting a lot of video. We get voices on our videos, but I mean, as for shadows and stuff like that, we're not getting a lot of that. But there has not been an investigation that we've been on so far that we have not gotten any, they're all been voices.
but our first few investigations before we bought cameras were just with recorders, audio
Right.
recorders and everything.
Yeah, we didn't
Yeah,
have video
and then
on quite a few of the other investigations.
and you got to remember, I mean, just because you may not get a lot of video, it doesn't hurt to have it with you just in case something does happen and you say, "Wow, damn, I wish I had a camera." Well, it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. So,
I mean in this day and age, I mean people I had a kid ask me one time, oh, what should I get? Should I get the K2? Should I get all this? I'm like, no, I mean, you're just starting out, right? And you ain't got no income coming in. He's like, no. And I'm like, dude, I know you got a phone. Your mama just bought you a phone. I know she got you a phone. You can take pictures. You can record. You can use these little apps that are out there that are free. I mean, I wouldn't use them extensively since you haven't had any training in them, but besides that, get yourself a flashlight. You're ready to roll.
yeah, and sometimes you can, well, your phone is a flashlight too, but anyway,
Well, yeah,
you sometimes you can even make phone calls on that phone too, besides all the other stuff it does.
right. But yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
we're gonna
Oh,
head out because it's almost an hour drive to where we gotta go.
all right. Well, you guys stay safe and thank you.
Thanks for
Thank,
Um,
having us. Yeah.
yeah, been our
hopefully,
pleasure. Yeah,
hopefully we get to do this again.
You let us know. We're ready.
All right. All right. You
maybe
guys
we'll see
have.
if we can find some friends at the cemetery and we'll bring them back with us. Hey, we'll let them talk to you. No, no,
Right.
we leave everybody there. Trust me. Yeah, they're not
No,
allowed to attach to us. So
if you do bring them, drop them off at Daddy's.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he can make friends with Rolo.
yeah, no kidding.
All right. We'll see ya.
Talk
Thanks.
to
All
you
right.
later. Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye.
We good?